and welcome to session 4 of our cardiac rehab stand-in series. We've now progressed on from session 3 and we're going to add a few extra exercises in and increase the time a little bit during this workout. So we started the series on session 1 with a 10-minute cardiovascular workout. We also added a warm-up and a cool down to that. We moved to session 2, which was a 12-minute cardiovascular workout. Session 3 was 15 minutes and session 4 today is going to be around 19 minutes of cardiovascular work. We'll do some 1 minute and 15 second stations and we're going to have a rest in between each of those stations where I explain the next exercises. And as always, if you find this session too easy, if your RPE scores are below 13 for the majority of the session, then move on to the next session. If you find that for the majority of this workout you're RPEing around 13 to 14, that's good, that's the level we want to be at, so stick with this workout for a little bit longer until you find it becomes comfortable and then move on to the next workout. Equally, if this is a little bit too challenging and your RPE scores are above 14, then drop back to the previous workout. Please make sure that you've watched the video on RPE so you understand those levels. Please read the following information carefully. So now that you've read the safety information, we're ready to get started. So we're going to start with a warm-up like we always do, and it's really important that we always warm up before a workout and we always cool down at the end of a workout. So for today's session we'll get started and we're going to start with a march on the spot. Okay, so let's start then. So we're going to start with a slow pace and then just gradually increase the pace throughout the warm-up. So just nice and simple to begin with, march on the spot. Gentle swing of the arms. And again, as we always say, don't exercise through any chest pain. Use the correct protocols if needed. And if you need to take a rest at any point, slow the pace down. Try and bring it back down to a steady march if you can do. Sit down if you need to, but keep the feet moving or the toes wiggling. So we'll just keep that march going, and then in a moment we're going to add some shoulder rolls in. Okay, so let's add 10 shoulder rolls backwards as we're keeping that march going. Okay, that's 1 and 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, then we're going to go 10 forwards. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 more. That's 10. Okay, give the arms a little bit of a shake. So now we're going to go into some heel digs. So we'll start with the right heel forwards, just tapping forwards and backwards. Okay, so let's tap those heels forwards. Now for warming up and cooling down, we want the RPE score to be around 11. So we want the warm up to feel quite light. We don't want you to be too out of breath straight away with this. It shouldn't feel strenuous. If it does, slow the pace down and you can complete it seated if needed. And then for the main part of the workout, we want that to feel around 13, 14, so somewhat hard. So you feel like you're doing something, but it's not challenging you too much. You can breathe reasonably comfortably and you can talk in full sentences. If you're becoming so out of breath that you would only be able to answer one-word answers, then slow the pace down, take the intensity down a little bit, or take a rest if needed. Okay, so in a moment we're going to keep the heel digs going, but we're going to add in a steady bicep curl as well. Okay, so let's curl the arms up as we're moving the legs. So again, just taking this to a pace that feels comfortable for you. And as the warm-up continues, we'll gradually increase that pace. And it's really important to warm up. We want to get the heart rate up a little bit. We want to get the body temperature up a little bit. We want to get you ready for some workout and increase the coronary blood flow. So if you suffer with anything like angina, it's going to reduce the risk of that occurring during a workout. It also gets your muscles ready for some exercise. And for today's workout, we're going to make that time just a little bit longer. So we need to make sure that the body's fully warmed up before we start. Okay, so we're going to keep that heel dig going, but we're going to change the arms now into a chest press. Okay, so we're going to push forwards and bring backwards. So just a nice steady movement. Arms at shoulder height, but if that's difficult, take the arms a little bit lower. This should still feel quite comfortable for you right now. And in a moment, we're going to take the arms down and we're going to take it into a side tap. Okay, so the arms go down and we're going to go right foot out and then left foot out. Just to wherever feels comfortable. You haven't got to overstretch on this one. We're just warming up, so nothing too strenuous right away. Breathing should still feel comfortable at this point. Now in a moment we're going to change the arms into a side raise. So as we take the toe out, we're going to raise the arms upwards and bring them back down. Okay, so we're just going up and down, just nice and steady. If it's difficult to get the arms too high, take them a bit lower. Or if you wish to, you can take the arms across the chest instead. So we're just nice, a controlled movement. Up and down, keeping those feet moving at the same time. And again, the pace isn't too fast at this point. We want you to feel comfortable. If it's getting a bit too strenuous, then slow it down or take the arms out and just take it back down to a side tap. And then in a moment, we're going to repeat those exercises again. So we're going to go back to the march, but we'll just pick the pace up a little bit. Okay, so we're back into the march with a bit of a swing in the arms. And it's important to try and repeat these exercises and these cardiac rehab sessions a few times a week if you can do. You might want to incorporate some walks in during the week as well. That's really important to improve your fitness and your strength if you've suffered with any kind of cardiac event. And if at any point you have any questions or queries or concerns about anything that you're doing, please contact the cardiac rehab team prior to doing them. Okay, so we're going to take the arms back into that shoulder roll again now. So if we keep the march going, let's do 10 shoulder rolls backwards. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and now let's do 10 forwards. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more. That's 10. Okay. So now we're going to take the heels back into a heel dig. So let's start with the right foot forward and we'll tap the heel and bring it back. Okay, so we're just picking the pace up a little bit now. So we're going a bit faster than that first round, but again, should still feel comfortable for you. We're not into the main workout part yet, so we don't want this to feel too difficult. So take the pace at whatever feels comfortable. And then in a moment, we're going to add those bicep curls in with the arms. Okay, so let's add the curl in as we tap forwards. No weights for the warm-up, keeping it nice and steady. We'll add the weights in during the workout in a moment. So the aim as we move through these sessions is to gradually increase the intensity of the exercises and also increase the time of the exercises so that we're aiming for around 30 minutes of cardiovascular work. Now if you'd prefer to go back to one of the previous sessions and repeat that session twice round, so you've got a longer workout, that's more than fine. If those exercises suit you better, you're able to do that as well. Pick the session that suits you and suits your mobility. Okay, let's change the arms now back into that chest press. Equally, if any of the exercises that we do in these sessions don't quite suit you and an exercise from the previous session suits you better, you can switch it back to those previous exercises if you wish to. Keeping those feet and arms moving. We're almost at the end of the warm-up now. Make sure you've got some water to hand if you need a sip of water throughout the session. And if it is a warm day, keep a window open. Okay, let's take it now back into the side tap. Again, just picking the pace up a little bit from where we started. Just nice and light on the toes. If you do wish to hold onto a chair or a surface for balance, that's absolutely fine. And then last time round, instead of doing the side raise, we'll do the push across the body. So we'll take the toes out, push the arms across the body. We'll start that in just a moment. Okay, so let's start with the right hand going across. Again, picking the pace that suits you. Remember that RPE score of around 11 for a warm-up. So if you're finding that it's getting a bit too difficult, slow it down. You should find that you feel a little bit warmer now. Breathing rate might be up just a little bit. And we're ready to get started with the exercise session in just a moment. Okay, let's take it back into the march now then. And we'll just give the arms a little bit of a shake. Give the wrist 5 rotations. That's 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Okay, so give the legs and the ankles a little bit of a shake. Give the ankles a few little rolls one way, a few the other, and the same with the other leg. And we'll go back the other way. Hold on to something if you need to. Okay, perfect. So we're all warmed up and we're ready to get started. So like I say, for this workout, we're elongating the time a little bit. We're going to stick with 1 minute and 15 seconds per exercise station with a short rest in between where I'm going to explain what we're going to do next. If you do need to take a rest at any other point, then please do so. Slow your pace down a little bit. Try to avoid stopping all of a sudden. Try and keep the feet moving, heels tapping, a light march, or sit down if you need to, but keep the toes tapping or wiggling. Okay, so for the first exercise, we're going to start with a split stance sit to stand, which some of you may have done before, some of you may not. So what this entails is sitting on your dining chair, chest nice and upright, posture good, and we want to offset the feet slightly. So we're going to start with the right foot forwards. So you want to pop your right heel roughly level with your left toe. Arms are going to go across the chest, and from that position you're going to push through the legs up to standing. We'll do halfway with the right leg forwards, and then we'll switch, put the left leg forwards and do halfway with the left leg forwards. Okay, so let's start with that right leg forwards. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So we're up and down, just nice and steady on this one. Take it at the pace that feels comfortable for you. If you can bring your elbows up as you do it, that encourages you to keep your upper body nice and upright. We want to avoid leaning forwards if we can do on this one. And we want to put all the pressure through the heels. So try and keep your heels in contact with the floor at all times. So we're giving the legs a good workout on this one. If it gets too much at any point, just sit down for a moment or two. Keep the toes moving. Let's switch legs then. Okay, left leg in front and up and down. Make sure your feet are roughly hip distance apart, so you've got a good sturdy base. Don't put them too close together, otherwise you'll start wobbling. We're almost done. Perfect, so that's your first one done. You can have a rest for a moment. Like I say, keep a march on the spot, or keep the toes wiggling inside the shoes, or have a tap of the toes. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the next exercise then. We're going to do a front raise. And as we do the front raise, we'll just bring the heels forwards. Okay, so pick up your weights if you're using them. And let's begin. So let's go right heel forwards whilst raising the arms. Now you don't have to use the weights for these ones if you don't want to. And you don't want weights that are too heavy. Like I say, the sessions are lasting roughly 1 minute and 15 seconds each of the exercise stations. So try and pick a weight that you can maintain for that length of time. Now with this one, we're just raising the arms up to shoulder height, and we're not holding the arms up there. We're not tensing them up there. We're just raising and lowering them in a nice controlled way. So we're halfway. Okay, if you want to increase the pace a bit, that's fine. Remember those RPE scores of around 13, 14. If it starts getting too difficult or above 14, slow it down a little bit. If you need to drop the weights down, take the weights down, take them out, pop them on the floor. We've got 10 seconds left. Five seconds. Okay, perfect. Pop your weights back down, have that drink, have that rest. Next one then we're going to do is a knee raise, but as we raise the knees, we're going to push the arms up. So we're doing a knee raise with a shoulder press. If you want to add some weights in, you can do, but don't make the weights too heavy for this one. We don't want to be pushing a really heavy weight over the head. Okay, so we're going to start. Let's go right leg first. Don't have to lift the hands all the way up, just go to wherever's comfortable and pick a pace that suits you, a pace that you can maintain for the 1 minute and 15 seconds. I'm not using weights for this one, you don't have to, but if you feel like you want to, if you feel comfortable enough to use them, then try just a light weight for this one. Of course, if you've had recent surgery, recent sternotomy or device fitting, then take the arms out of this one and just lift the knees. If it gets too difficult, you can take the arms out and just lift the knees as well. Okay, we'll keep this going another 20 seconds. Try and keep that breathing nice and fluid throughout. 10 seconds left. Okay, we're into the next rest. So now we're going to do the side tap with the side raise, a bit like we did with the warm-up, but we're going to do a full tap to the side and a full tap to the other side. If you've got some light weights, you can use them. If not, don't use the weights, you can do it without the weights. So tap one side and tap the other side. Okie doke, let's start then, right side first. Now your tins of beans are roughly about 400 grams, so just under half a kilogram. So that's something to bear in mind if you're using dumbbells. Don't go too heavy on the dumbbells. If you start off with some weights and you find that your arms are getting a bit heavy or a bit tired, take the weights out first, pop them down. If your arms are still too tired, take the arms down and take it to a step. Again, pick a pace that suits you. You don't have to go at the same pace that I'm going at. You can go faster or slower depending on how you're feeling. Doing really well. Keep that going another 20 seconds. Five more seconds. Brill. Pop the weights down and have that rest, but keep the feet moving. Now the next exercise we're going to do is a backwards lunge. So you can rest on a chair for this if you wish to, but you don't have to as long as you're balanced enough. So we're going to start with the right foot, taking the foot backwards, and as you go back, we're going to bend the knee down to the floor. Bring it in and alternate to the other one, okay? Start with your feet hip distance apart and together. Let's take the right foot back and bend the knee down. Keep your chest upright as you're doing it. You don't have to stride out too far if you can't. Just go to wherever's comfortable on this one. And the idea is that you're trying to push the back knee down to the floor. And we want to try and keep the front knee behind the front toes if you can do. Bringing the feet back together before you take the other foot back out. This is a really good workout for the legs. If this gets too much, you can simply take it back into a back tap rather than that lunge. You can just tap the toes behind you. And again, if you want to do it without the chair, you're more than welcome to do that. We're almost done. And we're back into that rest. Fab. Okay. So the next one we're going to do, similar to the warm-up, we're going to do the chest press with the heel digs as well. Okay, so pushing the weights forwards and backwards, but nice and relaxed, using light weights if you've got them, or no weights if not. Okay, so let's start right heel first. Arms up at shoulder height. Just a nice fluid movement, don't hold them out there for too long. But you don't have to use the weights for this one if you don't want to. You can do this just as good without the weights. Should feel a little bit warmer now. I know I do. Doing really well. Halfway there. Again, same thing applies. If your arms get too heavy, pop the weights down. If they're still too heavy, take your arms out and take it back down to the heel dig. If that's still too much, sit yourself down and just tap the heels as you sat down. Avoid a sudden stop. Almost there, 3 seconds left. Brilliant. Okay, so next one we're going to do then, you might have done on the previous one, we're going to do the butt kick, but we're going to add in a bicep curl as we do this, okay? So as you curl the foot up, let's do a bicep curl with the arms. You can add weights in if you want to add weights in, or you can simply do it without weights. Try and get that foot up to the bum. Okay, let's start then, right leg first. Just take the leg to wherever's comfortable. If you need to hold onto the chair for support, you can do that without the arms. You don't have to do the bicep curl if it's uncomfortable, or if you're a bit wobbly and you need that support, use the chair. Listen to your body and take it to your own level. If you can do it with the curl, do it with the curl, and if you want to add some weights in, that will push that intensity up a little bit. Should feel this all in your legs, top of your legs, getting them working now really well. "20 seconds left. Again, if your arms get tired, take the arms out. If the legs get tired, take the speed down and take the movement down a bit, and if you need to, just take it into a tap. Pick those levels. Okay, we're back into the next rest then. So don't forget to keep the feet moving as you're resting, having that sip of water. Now the next exercise we're going to do will be the upright row. So you've done these before, I'm sure. Weights are going to go in front. We're going to raise the arms up and back down, pushing the elbows up as you're doing it. So we're not lifting like that. We're lifting like that, okay? Let's go. Now if we can, let's try and keep a little tap in with the feet as we're doing it. You can tap or you can march, whatever works for you. It's a little bit difficult to coordinate, but I'm sure you can do it. And as we're doing this, we're keeping the weights reasonably close into the body. So we're not lifting them up out here, we're bringing them up and down. It's a little bit difficult to turn around whilst I'm doing that. And again, you don't have to use the weights for this one if you don't want to. You can do this just as easily without the weights, but you want to pick that right level for yourself. Tins of beans or tins of soup, tins of chopped tomatoes, all of those sort of things will work. Or you can fill a bottle of water up with the desired amount of water to the level that suits you, and then you can increase that water next time so it gets a little bit heavier. We're almost there now on this one, 5 seconds left. There we go, back into that rest period. Brilliant. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to do is going to be your half jack. So similar to your side steps that we've already done, we're going to step out, but as we step out, we're going to take the arm over, okay? Just above the head. If it's difficult to do it overhead or you've had any recent sort of surgery or devices or anything like that, take it across the body, okay? Let's start. Let's go right leg, then left. Again, pick the pace that suits you. If it's easy, if you're RPing below 13 and you want to make it that bit harder, hold a weight in the hand, but just a light weight for this one. You can always increase the pace a little bit or slow the pace down if it gets too much. Again, if your arms get tired, take the arms down. You can do it across the body in the first instance, and then if they're still a bit tired, you can take the arms out and just do the tap. Okay, we're over halfway now. Keep that going, we're doing really well. Should still be able to talk in full sentences at this point. If you're finding that you're gasping or you're unable to answer in a full sentence, it's one-word answers, then slow it down, catch that breath back. Okay, brilliant. Back into the rest. So next one we're going to do will be your wall press. So you can do this on a wall or you can do it on a slightly lower work surface. Provided your hands don't slip forward, hook the thumbs underneath so you stop yourself from slipping forwards. Feet hip distance apart, and we're going to bend down and up. Okay. Let's go. So elbows go out to the side and stop just a couple of inches before the wall. I don't want anybody banging the face into the wall. Nice controlled movement on this one. Keep that breathing nice and fluid. Don't hold your breath. And if you do want to make it a bit harder, you can either find a surface that's a little bit lower down with the hands. You could go a little bit lower on the wall, or you can take the feet a little bit further back. So the further back your feet go, the more pressure that puts into the chest and the arms. But only do that if you feel comfortable. If not, bring the feet in a little bit and you get just as good a workout with that. It's really good for opening out those chest muscles. Keep that going. 5 more seconds. Perfect. Okay, into that next rest then. So the next exercise we're going to do is going to be the squat. So we've done this before holding onto the chair, which we can do again. Feet hip distance apart. We're going to try and take the squat a bit further this time. Last time we just did a mini squat. So let's try and take it down and up. Keep your heels flat on the floor. Feet roughly hip distance apart. Chest nice and upright. Let's go. So we're not lifting the heels up if we can help it. Pushing all the weight through the legs, straight down through the heels into the floor. If this is difficult, you can go back to a sit to stand, which we've done in previous videos, or you can just take it to a mini squat. So you haven't got to do that full range of motion, just do whatever feels comfortable for you. And try and keep the chest and the head upright as we're doing it. You don't have to use the chair if you don't want to. Hands can go across the chest and we can squat down and up, keeping those elbows nice and upright as we're doing it. Pick the level that suits you. And we've got another 20 seconds left of this one. We're well over halfway now. You should certainly feel a little bit warmer. I know I do right now. 5 more seconds. There we go, fab. Okay, taking that rest, taking on that water. Now your next exercise, we're going to do a tricep kickback. So you can do this with or without the weights. And what I want you to do is pop your arm behind you, keeping your arm nice and straight. Keep the arm close into the body, and we're going to pivot at the elbow, down and up. Okay, let's start with the right arm. Start these with no weight and add a weight afterwards. So as you're doing this one, I want you to try and keep your shoulder and your upper arm still. So we're not swinging the entire arm like this. The arm goes out and we pivot at the elbow. If you want to make it harder, you can hold the weight as we're doing it, bring the weight under and back. If it's difficult to do that, you can go out to the side and do it underneath instead, but always keeping the upper part of the arm still. Okay. So we're halfway, so we'll switch arms. I'll pop the weight down for a moment. Arm goes out straight. We bend in at the elbow. And my hand and my elbow are reasonably close to my body. So my arm isn't out to the side, it's just behind if we can get it there. Obviously that depends on your flexibility as well, and again, if you need to, take it to the side. Up and down to the side, and we can add those weights into either of those. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds. Brilliant. So let's take that rest. And the next exercise that I'm going to show you is a step up with a bicep curl. You can do this on a bottom step or any step you've got in your house, as long as there's somewhere for support and you're not going to trip up anywhere. Make sure you're exercising safely. So as we step up, we're going to bring it up into a curl. As we step off, we take the arms down. Okay? Let's start with the right leg leading first. So right on, right off. Arms up and down. If it gets difficult to coordinate, take the arms down. You can hold them by your sides. You can hold some weights in your hands if you wish to, by the side, or you can curl the arms up with the weight. If you can add the weight into this one, it's going to really give you a good workout, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Making sure you've got that good step on there. You're not wobbling as you're doing it. Your whole foot's on the step. Okay, let's change and lead with the left leg now. So left up and left down. You'll always have one leg that you lead with when you step. So we want to make sure that we work them both equally. Should feel this one working a little bit now. Take it to the pace that you wish to. You can go faster or slower than I am. Okay, perfect. Let's move that step out of the way. Have a sip of water, keep the toes wiggling, keep the feet moving. Now the next exercise, I'm going to pick my weights back up and we're going to do a side bend. So you're going to start feet hip distance apart, arms beside you, bend down to one knee and back up, down to the other and back up. Okay, let's bend it down to the right knee and up, down to the left knee and up. Now as you're doing this, try and keep your body nice and upright. So we're not leaning forwards as we're doing it, we're maintaining that good posture. And as you take the right hand down, gently bring the left hand up a little bit. So you're lifting and lowering the weights at the same time. Again, you can do this with or without weights. Bringing it back to the middle before you change sides. If you can, as you're doing this, give your toes a bit of a wiggle so you're not stood still. It's a little bit more difficult to do a march with this one, or a side tap or a step, but let's try and keep those toes moving. And then we've got one more exercise and we're into the cool down. 10 seconds. Brilliant. Okay, last exercise we're going to do then is a calf raise. So again, if you want to hold onto your chair, you can do. You don't have to, or you can hold onto a work surface or anything like that. Feet again hip distance apart, and we're going to raise up onto the toes, lowering it back down again. Up and down, just to wherever's comfortable on those feet. Let's go. Try and keep your chest nice and upright on this one. Keep your gaze looking forwards. Should feel this in the bottoms of the legs now. And then once we've done this one, we're into a nice gentle cool down. You don't have to use the chair for this one again if you don't wish to, as long as you're balanced. You can either keep your arms by your sides, or you can place your hands across your chest. And we're going up and down on those feet, or you can just hold one hand on the chair. Make sure you haven't got a wobbly chair like mine either. I think I picked the wrong one for this. Okay, we've got 10 more seconds. Doing really well. Up and down. Had a good workout there. 5 seconds. Perfect. Okay. So have a sip of water if you need to. Try and keep those feet moving. And we're going to go into a cool down now. So equally as important as the warm up. Once we've finished exercising, and that was quite a hard session, your heart rate would have been up, your breathing rate would have been up, we need to bring those back down steadily now. We want to avoid stopping all of a sudden, and that's going to prevent any dizziness, any lightheadedness, any fainting, which we really don't want when we've finished exercising. Okay, so let's go into a march then. So just a gentle swing of the arms, and we're bringing that pace down now. We're not using any weights for the cool down. Again, you can lean on a chair if you need to, but if not, we'll just have that gentle swing of the arms. And the cool down should start to feel lighter. Your breathing rate should start to come down a little bit now. Okay, let's give those shoulders a roll now. That's 1. Let's do 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's go forwards for 10. There's 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more. That's 10. Okay, give the arms a bit of a shake, and let's take it into those heel taps now then. So as we do the heel taps, let's raise and lower the arms in that bicep curl. So no weights again for this one. Take the pace down a bit slower if you need to. Remember, we want to score an RPE of around 11 for this. It should feel quite light. If it feels too difficult, take the arms out. Okay, we're going to take the arms out now and just take it to a tap. Keeping those feet moving at all times. Nice steady breathing. And then in a moment, we're going to take it out to the side tap with the push across the body. Again, no weight involved in this. Okay, so let's tap right foot out and then left, and as we do that, just do a gentle push across the body. So we're not going too fast for this one. We're going slower than we did when we did it in the workout. Okay, now let's take the arms down, but we'll take the tap out to the side. So we're giving the arms a bit of a rest now. It's really important to make sure that you complete the full cool down. If you're in a rush, take a bit of time off the workout rather than the cool down. And by the end of a cool down, you should feel like you could do the whole thing again. We're not going to, but you can. That's how you should feel. Okay, let's take it into a back tap now then. So we're just tapping the toes backwards and forwards. So we're not doing a lunge like we did in the workout. Toes are going backwards, bringing them in and alternating the foot. Try and keep your chest nice and upright. You can hold on to a chair again if you need to for this one. Just go to wherever's comfortable with the step on this one. You haven't got to step too far back. Okay, and then we're going to take it back into that march now then. Just a very light swing in the arms. And the pace has dropped down a little bit again. This should feel nice and easy now. If it doesn't, sit down and do the march seated. And then let's take it back into the heel dig. So right heel forwards and the left heel forwards. So just nice and steady on these. Just giving those calves a gentle stretch now. Almost done. Okay, we're going to take it just back into a very gentle march now, and we're going to do 10 shoulder raises. So rather than rolling them forwards and backwards, we're going to imagine we're trying to get our shoulders touching our ears. So we'll do 10 nice and steady. That's 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, give the arms a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a roll around. Let's do 10 wrist rotations. That's 1, that's 5, and 10. Okay, let's do 10 ankle rotations. We'll do 5 one way and 5 the other. Hold on to something if you need to for this one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Let's go back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Foot down, left foot. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Let's go other way. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Foot down. Brilliant. Well done. So that's session 4 completed. So hopefully you found that enjoyable. That's a good workout. We've pushed on from session 3 and we've added some more time on. We've changed up the exercises a little bit. Like I say, you can always drop back to the previous exercises if you wish to, if they suit you a bit better, or you can pick the lower level of the exercises that we've done today. If that was too easy for you and you were RPEing at below 13 for most of that session, move on to the next session, move on to session 5. Equally, if we found that was a bit too challenging, you can always drop back to the previous session and come back to this one when you feel comfortable. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and hopefully we'll see you again for session 5. Thank you.